Hello, and welcome to The Burden of Proof. I'm your host, Dr. Marcia Burden, and today for our first episode, we're going to be talking about the $1.9 trillion stimulus package. This is a stimulus package that was proposed by the House of Representatives in the United States Congress. And what's interesting about this package is the fact that this package was considered the Democratic relief bill. Now, what's included in this package? The stimulus package includes relief for small businesses, relief for people who are unemployed. It also gives educational credit. It gives child tax credits. It also puts, which is most important to a lot of people, that $1,400 stimulus check in Americans' pockets who make $75,000 and under. So today we're excited because we're going to talk about this and evaluate the stimulus package. We're going to talk about how it affects college students. We're going to talk about some of the psychological effects that this package has. And we're going to also talk about how this package was passed through the government.
More breaking news we're following. CNN has learned that individual $600 coronavirus relief checks are expected to go out this week, although that timing could slide. And the money can't come soon enough for millions of struggling Americans.
That $600 is for individuals earning $75,000 a year or less. Married couples earning $150,000 a year or less who file jointly get twice that amount. Families with children under 17 will get $600 per child. People earning $99,000 a year or more get nothing. The payments could increase from $600 each if Congress and the president agree to bigger payments for this stimulus bill.
Now, one thing on many Americans' minds right now that President Biden has been inaugurated, is when could we receive a third stimulus check? His nearly $2 trillion American Rescue Plan includes $1,400 checks for qualifying Americans. But first, he has to get the legislation through Congress, which could take several weeks. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi saying today it could go to the floor the first week of February. But even if it passes both chambers, you still have to factor in processing, which means it could be March before you receive any of that money.
Welcome to our Q&A section, and today we have Oakwood University students from the Department of History and Political Science. We have today with us Paris, who is a pre-law major, and Jordan, who is a public policy major. And today we're going to talk to them about the $1.9 trillion stimulus package. Hi, Jordan and Paris. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hey, good to be here. Good to be here.
All right, so let's get things started. So the first question that I just have to ask is, how did you feel about this $1,400 check? Because this time, unlike the other times that we've had the past two packages, or the past package, I should say, the third round of stimulus checks, now college students who are considered dependents are qualified to receive the $1,400. So Paris, Jordan, how did you all feel about the $1,400 check?
Well, yeah, like at first I definitely didn't know that I was going to get the check because I'd always heard about the dependent thing or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, so I go talk to my mom, so where's my $1,400? You know what I'm saying? It's definitely exciting to now have that extra money in your pocket and just knowing that there is somebody looking out for you. You do matter now, which is lovely. I don't know about yourself.
Yeah, no, I mean, I woke up one day and, you know, the day before I had no money, and then the next day I had $1,400. So, I mean, it was super good. I was able to save a lot of it and, you know, buy some, like, you know, necessities. But it's definitely, you know, as a broke college student, you know, that $1,400 went a long way.
So you both brought up interesting points. And so before I go to my next question, I want to point out that there were two different ways that you received this. So for those who don't know, right, you receive it directly if you're considered an independent. And you received it indirectly through your parents if you're considered a dependent. So that's very interesting. So some students will get that check, like Jordan, straight to the account, and then Paris, you all are relying on your parents to just be nice enough and maybe slide you a couple of $100 from the check. All right, awesome. So I just have to ask this next question. Being that you all are both in the History and Political Science department, that means that you have insider knowledge on, and I'm pretty sure you know where I'm going with this, you have insider knowledge on how the package was passed. So tell me, what was the process that the government went through to make sure that we got this new $1.9 trillion stimulus package?
Yeah, so I mean, basically, it's like any other legislation where it starts in the House, and if it gets a majority vote, then it goes to the Senate. And I think it was interesting because this package was one party, the Democratic Party, they were the only ones who voted for the package, and no Republican senators voted for it.
Wow.
So it was really interesting to see that, and I mean, after that, the president signed off on it, and a few weeks later, we get our checks.
All right, Paris, did you want to add to that?
I think he got it right down. I just wanted to, it was kind of Biden's thing, especially when he was running for presidency. He was the one pushing for the stimulus package, pushing for, we want to help with COVID relief. And so the fact that as he got into office, he was able to sign off on it through the help of voters, black voters specifically, who helped, the Senate be, 50-50 so that Kamala could make this difference. So, yeah.
Right. I had to give a special shout out to and shameless plug to the state of Georgia for getting Ossoff and Warnock in. That's actually my home state. And, people like Stacey Abrams and other people who rallied around people of color actually coming out and vote and making sure that we have representation not only in the House, but also in the Senate. And as well, as you just stated, in the executive cabinet, as our president and vice president both are Democrats. So that's awesome. Thank you. And then my last question, how is the $1.9 trillion stimulus package going to affect you in the future? And now this is a very broad and wide-cast question, but what I'm getting at is, first of all, we see in this package that people who attend college and graduates in professional school right now, they don't have to pay back their money. So they don't have to pay back their loans, and they don't have interest coming along that. How is that going to impact you all in the future? Because one day, you all are aspiring attorneys, and one day you're going to want to attend law school, or you might want to attend graduate school. So how's that going to impact you? What is this type of package with so much money? Our country is already in debt, as you all know, and now we're getting in further debt. How is this going to impact your future?
I'll definitely say we're going to have to pay it back, right? So later on, as we are attorneys, then wherever we decide to go, we're the ones paying the taxes for it. And so just realizing that as much as we want that money now, we do have to pay it back later. And not to be, not to be surprised, obviously save your money, save your coins, whatever. But just acknowledge that there are pros and cons to both things. You can't just see the pros and not look into the future and say, okay, wait, but there's my bill that's about to come later.
Yeah. Jordan?
Yeah, so I mean, with the package passing, the deficit is definitely going to grow this year. But there are pros and cons, like you guys said. But as of right now, when people are desperate and you got bills to pay, you're not worried about future taxes. You're worried about making your rent due for this year. So I mean, it definitely helped out, and we'll worry about that in the future.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Paris and Jordan. You heard it straight from our students' mouths. This is the Q&A section, and we look forward to seeing you at our next one.
Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Bianca Bird, and today we're here on Oakwood's campus, and we're talking about money, specifically the stimulus check money. So, $1,400. What would I do with $1,400? I would travel. I would travel all over the world. And you know what? I can't be looking raggedy, so I would get, so I get some new fits. I get a new sweater, some more pants, I get some new shoes, get my nails done. I'm tired of this color, right? I've had this purple color a while now. I was thinking maybe blue, maybe even green, something, maybe yellow. It's springtime, something like that, right? But you know what? Enough about me. Let's hear what other students have to say about their money. So you've heard about the stimulus money, right?
Yes, I have heard about the stimulus money.
Did you get it?
No, I'm a dependent, so I just hoping that my parents, buy me some Jordans or something.
But what if they don't give it to you? What are you gonna do?
I'm probably gonna throw a temper tantrum and hit a lick on my parents. Nah, but I'm just gonna ask them to cash at me $500.
500?
Yeah, that's what I deserve. Come on, I'm a whole person too, right?
I guess I just let them keep it. I mean, they do a lot for me already, so they could just keep it.
Oh, yeah. I got mine.
Are you an independent or dependent?
I'm a dependent, so I got it through my parents. No, I did not get it. Well, I don't believe I got it. I don't know if my mother took it before I was able to get it, or if I just didn't receive it.
Did you get it?
Nope,
No, why?
because I'm independent.
So, what are you gonna do about your parents then?
What do you mean, what am I going to do about my parents? They're my parents.
Are you gonna ask them for
Yeah,
it,
sure, I'll
or-
ask for it.
Okay, and then what if they say no?
What am I going to do?
I don't know. Ask them.
Ask them again?
Yeah.
Yeah, that gets me in the ER.
I do have it. I mean, is it in, like, do I see it? No, but I have it.
So your
I know
parents
that.
have.
Yes,
Okay,
but
what are they doing with it?
they're gonna give it to me. Though.
They're actually gonna give it
Yes,
to you?
they're gonna
What if
actually
they
give it.
didn't give it to you. What would you do?
I'd feel sad.
That's it?
They're gonna give it to me though, so it's okay. Like, if they didn't, that'd be disappointing.
You know, I don't know. I can't say because, you know, I got it. But if they hadn't give it to me, I'd be a little mad, you know.
Then what would you do with that money?
What would I do with that money? I'd probably buy some new studio equipment. I need to get a new microphone so I can record some music, yeah.
I would put it in my savings account for my car.
School, to be honest,
All of it went to school?
basically.
The irresponsible Taylor would buy a Chanel bag, but the responsible Taylor would save all of it. Give 10% and save all of it.
It's gonna be added to the collection of dollars. You know, I'm gonna get my monies up. You know, it's 2021. We go up in everything. You know, so money's a part of that. It's just gonna be going up.
Help my parents out with the shopping, put some, of course, in my tuition because my tuition ain't gonna pay itself. And yeah, the list goes on. I don't know yet because, it's a lot. So I'm like, still thinking about it.
When I get it, first of all, I would tithe it to the church.
So we've definitely heard some interesting interviews today, but I'd like to leave you guys with a final thought. What would you do with $1,400? I'll let you think about that. Okay, back to you in the studio, Dr. Burden.
Welcome back. I am here with the renowned Dr. Gamble, who is a professor of psychology here at Oakwood University. And Dr. Gamble, I want to talk to you about this stimulus package, but I want to talk to you about it in two different aspects. First, I want to talk to you about what kinds of impact this package has on people psychologically. And then secondly, I want to talk about how this is going to impact things such as the wealth gap, such as the disparities amongst minorities. So if we could start with the first question, how do you think this is going to impact people psychologically?
Well, there's been some studies recently by CNBC, and they've seen that the spending patterns, at least the belief from people who are receiving the stimulus by ethnicity, has some variance. So white folks, Asian folks, they're saving their money. Whereas Black and Latino folks and this is gonna get me into the wealth gap in just a moment, but they're spending their money on day-to-day things or catching up because they were behind, especially if they were in the service industry that got shut down. So if they were support to, let's say, a large industrial building, right? Now that building's closed down because everybody's gone home, they're not working, so they need this stimulus package. If we talk about the large wealth gap, right? In particular, if we're looking at the Brookings Institute, and they've done several studies on the wealth gap, but one of the things that really hit me, because I was asking you about the actual cost, so 1.9 trillion, right?
Yes.
The wealth gap is 10 trillion.
Wow.
So we're
a
just
lot.
kind of cutting into this wealth gap, and it isn't necessarily even directed at Black people specifically, but if we're concerned about Black folks, we're usually struggling to save, and because there was a whole thing with legal segregation, right? Houses were devalued because you were forced to go and live in one particular neighborhood. If your house is devalued, you're not able to generate the kind of wealth that you need. So when it comes to the spending and the idea, this is important, right? Especially if you've been out of work or if you want to make sure that you're paying off your student loans, especially for our students here graduating from places like Oakwood or other HBCUs, this is a big conversation. So I'm hoping it will spur greater opportunity for folks, and particularly to start their own businesses. One thing I am always excited about for particularly the next generation. And I'm talking about black folk who are in high school and college.
Yes.
This Generation Z, they're very likely to start their own business.
Right.
And so there has been some strong indicators that these young folks are either doing stocks, bonds, starting their own businesses. So we're going to see soon what the effects are of this stimulus package, but I'm very excited. The last thing I'm really concerned about, though, is the medical bills that people have had. So COVID and mental health issues has disproportionately impacted African Americans. So being able to pay off those bills, that stimulus package helps, but we may need some more stimulus, some more support ongoing. And I'm hoping that legislators, particularly like the ones we put in office more recently,
Right.
and I'm talking, I'm saying black folks in general who went out to vote, most likely voted for Biden and Kamala Harris. Hopefully they'll listen to those things within the next 4 years and be able to provide that support.
So, Dr. Gamble, as a psychologist, if you could give somebody advice as to how they can be mentally healthy during this time, what would you say?
Ooh, boy. Plan for the future, right? And I'm using some of this good old biblical advice that my mother would give me. Today's my mom's birthday, so.
Oh, wow. Happy birthday, Mom.
Always like to think of my mom, but Romans 8:28, right? All things work together for the good of them that love the Lord. As a
Yes.
psychologist, I focus on that idea of delayed gratification.
Wow. Say it again. The listeners, the viewers did not hear you. Say it one more time, and I want you to look in the camera and say it.
So Romans 8:28, all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord. And
Right.
we're using our psychological hat here. We're looking at delayed gratification, taking that time to spend some savings, but also to really have a vision for what the Lord wants for you. And I think that will help with some of the ongoing concern and worry, but also give people a sense of purpose. Because it's difficult to have good mental stability when you're unaware of what your purpose is,
Right.
unaware of what the meaning is. I also think pray with some more folks. Now you're saying, well, you're a psychologist. What do you mean pray? Connect with people, right? And connect with people and look for opportunities to use that money to make the lives better of those around you. Some of the more healthier habits that have come out of the COVID shutdown and have led to this stimulus have been people coming together and supporting each other.
All right. Well, you heard it from our very own Dr. Gamble. Thank you, Dr. Gamble, for coming into the studios today. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
And remember, delayed gratification.
Okay, so what do you mean? Mom, I need the money. I don't know what else to tell you. What do you mean it's for my future? I don't care about my future, Mom. We've had this discussion. Did she just hang up on? Ugh. That was my mom. She won't give me my stimulus money. She just keeps going on and on about how she needed to pay things like my tuition and my bills. I mean, come on, those things are so trivial.
You said the stimba what?
The stimulus.
Who that?
What? Dr. Burton just did a whole presentation on it.
Oh, I didn't hear. I was washing my shoelaces.
Okay, so I guess we gotta explain this again. Millions of Americans received government assistance. Included in that number are college students like us who are looking to get some help. Please help us. We are seriously struggling. I mean, we're in school. It's a pandemic. Some of us are graduating. This is not easy. Anyway, we are getting the stimulus as college students, but it may not be as easy as you think. If you're a dependent like me, you would have to call your parents and ask them. And if you saw that process did not go very well. Now, on the other hand, if you're independent, which means you provide more than half of your own expenses, then it'll hit your account and you could do whatever you want with it. Now, you can spend that money on a cruise.
Hey, no cruises. This is a pandemic.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You could buy that new car.
If you get in the car for $1,400, it's not a good car.
He's right. Okay. What if you buy that PS5 with the scalper prices?
I mean, it'll work, but it's a terrible investment.
You know what? Netflix is bumping up the prices, so that's probably something to keep in mind. Now, if you're looking to track the status of your stimulus, there was a place to do that, irs.gov. Now, it may have given you some information, or it may have said that there was no information available. To all those who received that message, I feel your pain, and we'll make it through this together. Now, I am going to call my mom back because I have bills to pay, like my Chipotle bill after I place this order.
Get extra beans.
No. Come on, Mom, pick up. Pick up. I am your son. You cannot just not pick up the phone.
So in today's episode, we got a full round discussion about the $1.9 trillion stimulus package. We heard how the package was passed. We heard the effects that it's had on our students. We've heard the negative and positive effects that it's had on America. We even got a look at the psychological emphasis and impact that it's had on our entire country. What I find interesting, again, is that this was a party line vote piece of legislation, a legislation that has helped millions of Americans, was decided by the Democratic Party. We all know that our country is not just made up of the Democratic Party. We have the Republican Party, we have the Democratic Party, we also have other independent political parties. So what I find interesting is to see in the future, will it be up to the Democrats to ensure that millions of Americans have money and infrastructure and security and help during this time? Or will we see a difference? Will we see a coming together of our nation, or will we see a stark divide? I want to leave you with one final thought. It's not about what is said in politics. It is about what the politics means to and for you. And I'd like to leave you with one final thought. In politics, it's what isn't said that actually matters. I'm your host, Dr. Marcia Burden, and tune in next week to another episode of The Burden of Proof.